Hello, and welcome to Module 3 of the UDL Implementation Pathway, Phases of UDL Implementation. The implementation of any complex framework unfolds over time. Based on research into the most effective ways of implementing changes in practice, CAST has developed 5 phases of implementation. In their particulars, these phases will look different in each school, adapting to fit the needs of different constituencies and the context of the school itself. In this module, we will introduce those 5 phases, the purpose and goals of each, and some ideas for activities that might be included in each of these phases. As with any planning of this sort, the greatest benefit comes in the work of creating the plan itself. So even if we had a secret UDL implementation plan, it may not be that helpful. The goal today is that this module will give you enough information, examples, and ideas to inform your thinking about implementation planning and next steps. The need for change, that is, your answer to why UDL, propels the work outward to deeper and broader implementation across the school to support the development of expert learning. Remember, it's the big rock you throw into the middle of the pond. The ripples spread out in waves across the school to new teachers and new domains of school life, like parent communication and school leadership. The ripples of the work of UDL also spread downward into all of the layers of the pond, getting deeper through more intentional work, building a foundation for a more lasting impact. To maintain momentum for this work, the answer to why UDL should be revisited regularly to consider the next level of work. All right, now to the phases of UDL implementation. Phase 1 starts with exploring UDL as a possible means of achieving the goals that you have set for your school. Is UDL going to help us, and is now the right time? Most schools in the New Hampshire network have probably done the work of this phase already. Phase 2 is the preparation phase. We work to guide you through this phase as you are applying to the New Hampshire network by having you think about the climate of your school, to define an initial vision of what you wanted to get out of UDL and recruit a team of early adopters. In phase 3, the integration phase, your UDL team is experimenting with UDL in the classroom, finding ways to study practice through things like instructional rounds and setting goals for their own learning. As you move deeper into this phase, you begin to think about how to include your colleagues in the work of UDL. Are you including them in instructional rounds? Are you modeling UDL and PD? Are you beginning to use the language of UDL across the school? Finally, in this phase, you begin to build a coordinated plan for school-wide implementation. The scaling phase of implementation, phase 4, includes the development of systems to support the growth of UDL across the whole school. If your school is not yet a fully inclusive school, this is the time to think about how you would ensure that no students are left out of the mainstream classroom. You will also want to make careful study of instruction standard practice across the whole school, using processes like instructional rounds, looking at student work, reviewing classroom video, lesson study, or studying problems of practice. Also, consider how structures like common planning time, adding more members to the UDL team, professional learning communities, or coaches could support deeper UDL practice. Also, make sure that you are devoting enough time and resources for all staff to learn about UDL. Finally, you'll want to begin to think about how UDL can be applied to learning beyond the classroom, the learning embedded in the processes, systems, and structures across your school. The final phase, optimization, ensures that your implementation of UDL lasts through the years and remains responsive to internal and external changes. This really happens by cultivating the culture and practices of continuous improvement, and by connecting the school and educators with a UDL community of practice beyond the school itself. For more detail on each of these phases, see the resources. The Goals of Implementation Phases document will give you more detailed goals and how they align with different domains of school practice. Also, you will find a Phases of Implementation worksheet with many of these ideas as well. Finally, You will also find a UDL implementation self-assessment to get a sense from different constituencies of where your implementation efforts are right now. Finally, I would encourage you to engage with other schools who are undertaking this work. Find out more about how they are pursuing each phase of implementation. You will also find in the resources videos of UDL leaders sharing their experiences of implementation and other tools that schools have used for each of these phases. Understanding what these phases look like in practice is a key step to building your own implementation plan. Now is the time to go on the hunt for strategies that you think might work for your school as well. Thank you for joining me in the introduction to the phases of UDL implementation. Have fun diving into the resources in this one.